Okay, now when you're multiplying binomials that contain radicals, you do it exactly like you would numbers. So you're going to multiply the first times the first, the sum of the outers and inners, and the last. Well, if you look at this one, first of all, you have to look and see if you recognize anything. This is the same exact thing, the only difference is the plus and the minus. So this, the middle term is going to drop out on this because it's going to be 3 root 7 minus 3 root 7, so that's going to end up being 0 there. So you just have the first minus the second, which is 3 times 3 is 9, and root 7 times root 7 is just 7, so you have minus 7 equals 2. Okay, on this one, you have the first is going to be 3, so we're going to have 3 for the first, plus 3 root 2, plus 1 root 2, and plus 2. So you have 5, combining the 3 and the 2, plus 3 root 2, 1 root 2 is 4 root 2. Okay, now remember, squaring a binomial is the square of the first term. Root 7 squared is 7, plus twice the product of the two terms. So the product of the two terms is minus root 7 times 2, or root 14. And if we multiply this by 2, we get minus 2 root 14. And the square of the last is going to be positive 2, giving us a total of 9 minus 2 root 14. And 14 does not factor into anything that's a perfect square, so at this point you're done. When you have a radical on the denominator, which is a sum, you need to multiply it by something that's going to get rid of the radicals on the denominator. Well, as you just saw in a previous example, if I had root 5 plus root 2, and I were to multiply that by root 5 minus root 2, and FOILed these, this one would give me the 5 minus 2, and the middle term basically drops out. So this is what you're looking for. Whenever I have a 5 plus root 2 or anything plus another root, you're going to multiply it by the other one so that you can get the opposite sign in the binomial so that you can get rid of that. So I'm going to multiply this whole fraction by 1. Well, what does 1 look like? 1 looks like root 5 minus root 2, root 5 minus root 2. So this is 1, and when I multiply these down here, I'm just going to get the 5 minus 2, which is 3 on the denominator. Now I have 3 times 5 minus root 2, don't forget to distribute here, so I have 3 times root 5 minus root 2, and I didn't distribute because I have multiplication here, and I can cancel out this 3 into here, and I just end up with root 5 minus root 2 here for this answer. Again, the product of the first is 5 times 8 is 40. You're going to have 8 root 3 minus 10 root 3, and the product of your last terms is minus 2 times root 9. Because I have root 3 times root 3. Well, that's just 3. So I really have minus 2 times 3, which is 6. And these two combine to give you minus 2 root 3. And we have 40. So we end up having 40 minus 6 is 34 minus 2 root 3. Again, we have a binomial squared, so I'm going to square the first, which is 4 root 25, which is 4 times 5, which is 20. Then I'm going to multiply two of these together and double it. So I have the multiplication here is 2 root 35, and double it gives me 4 root 35. Plus, square the last, and I just get 7. So I have 27 plus 4 root 35. Okay, again, another binomial square. This time you're going to get 6. And the product of these two is a minus, and I'm going to multiply it by 2 again. I'm going to double it because I'm squaring. So I double the product of root 6 times 15. Well, 6 is 2 times 3 times 15 is 3 times 5. So you can see that my index here is 2. I have 2 factors of 3, which are going to end up coming out. Just that's why I left this factored out for you. Plus, remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. Root 15 squared is just 15. So now I end up with 21 minus, now when this 3 comes out, it gets multiplied by this 2, and I get 6 root, whatever's left is 2 times 5, which is 10. Okay, the first terms. Multiply your outside numbers first, 10, and then times root 6 times root 6 is going to get 6. Okay, here. Now my outsides are minus 4 times 5 is 20. Root 6 times root 3 is, and I'm going to leave it factored because it's 2 times 3 times 3. Notice I'll have 2 factors of 3 in there that I'll be bringing out. And my insides are plus 6 times root 12, which is 2 times 2 times 3. Again, I have the 2 factors factored out for you. And a minus, the last terms is going to be negative 3 times 4, 12, and then you multiply the root 2 times the root 3, and I get root 6. Now, let's combine some like terms and extract some square roots. I have 60 here, and I'm going to bring this 3 out. It's going to be multiplied by the minus 20 in front, giving me minus 60 root whatever's left, 2, plus, I'm going to bring the 2 out, it's going to be multiplied by the 6, and I get 12 root 3 minus 12 root 6. And believe it or not, you're done, because there's no roots that can be extracted, and I cannot combine any of these roots together because they're not the same.